It was raining that morning, steady and cold. The kind of rain that seemed to carry all the weight of the world. In the heart of the city, amidst towering buildings and hurried footsteps, a little girl no older than 7 stood at the reception of a towering corporate office, gripping a worn leather folder close to her chest. Her clothes were neat but modest, her shoes a little too big, and her eyes, large, brown, and serious, carried a determination no child her age should have to bear. The receptionist leaned over and offered a kind smile. "Sweetheart, are you lost?" The girl shook her head solemnly. "No, ma'am. I'm here for the interview. For the assistant position." She held out the folder with 2 small hands. "My mom was supposed to come, but she's really sick. I came instead." Up on the 40th floor, Damian Cole, the CEO of Cole Enterprises and one of the youngest self-made millionaires in the country, was in the middle of a meeting when his assistant burst in, flustered. "There's a child here to see you. Says she's here for the job interview." "A child?" Damian raised an eyebrow. "She says her mom was scheduled, but she's ill," and the girl insisted. For a moment, Damian hesitated. He had no time for games or delays. His company was expanding, a merger was on the horizon, and the clock was always ticking. But something in his assistant's voice, or maybe just sheer curiosity, made him nod. "Send her in." When the little girl walked into the sleek, glass-walled office, Damian was struck silent. She was so small, almost swallowed by the leather chair as she sat across from him, her hands tightly folded in her lap. "What's your name?" he asked gently. "Amy," she replied. "Amy Harper." "And your mother?" "Rachel Harper," Amy replied. "She was supposed to come today, but she had a really bad asthma attack last night. I stayed with her, but I remembered she was so worried about this interview. We really need this job. So I thought, maybe if I came and explained." Damian leaned back, studying her. "That's a very brave thing to do, Amy. But interviews are for adults. You understand that, right?" Amy nodded. "I do. I'm just here to tell you why my mom should get the job. She's the hardest worker I know. She makes breakfast every day at 5 a.m., walks me to school even when she's sick, and she reads at night even though she's tired. She types really fast, and she's never late. Ever." There was a lump in Damian's throat, unexpected and unwelcome. He cleared it and gestured to the folder. "May I?" Amy handed it over. Inside were neatly printed resumes, a recommendation letter from her mom's previous employer, and a crayon drawing. "It's my favorite," she explained. "Me and Mommy. I wanted you to know who she's working for." Damian smiled, something cracking in his chest. He hadn't felt something like this in a long time. Later that day, after sending Amy home in the company car and instructing his driver to buy her a hot meal, Damian did something he hadn't done in years. He visited someone without a scheduled meeting. He arrived at a small apartment in the outskirts of the city. The building was old, paint chipped, the stairwell dim. He knocked gently on apartment 4B. Rachel opened the door with a shawl around her shoulders, her face pale but surprised. "Mr. Cole," she whispered. "Miss Harper," he said. "Your daughter gave one of the most compelling interviews I've ever seen." Tears welled in Rachel's eyes. She looked as if she hadn't slept in days. I'm so sorry. I tried to come. I didn't even know she." He held up a hand. "No apology needed. I wanted to offer you the job. Full-time assistant. With benefits. And flexible hours, if needed." Rachel collapsed into the doorway, crying softly, whispering, "Thank you," over and over. Over the weeks that followed, Rachel became a cornerstone of Damian's office. Her work was impeccable, organized, efficient, kind. But it was Amy's courage that had left the deepest mark on the CEO. Damien had grown up in foster homes, shuffled from one cold place to another. He had built his empire out of grit and survival, but he had never known the kind of love Amy had shown, marching into a skyscraper to fight for her mother. One afternoon, Damien walked into the break room to find Amy doing her homework on the office couch, her legs swinging off the side. "Hey, boss," she said playfully, just like she'd heard the other employees do. "Hey, superstar," he replied, ruffling her hair. He sat down beside her and after a pause, said, "Your mom told me you want to be a lawyer one day." Amy nodded. "I want to help moms like mine." "Well then," Damien said with a smile, "we better make sure you have the best start possible." That week, he enrolled her in one of the best schools in the city, at his expense. Not as charity, but as investment. Investment in heart, in bravery, in the kind of love that could change lives. Years passed. Amy did become a lawyer. She graduated with honors. And on her graduation day, Rachel held Damien's hand tightly as they watched Amy give her valedictorian speech. "My mother once taught me that even when you feel small and scared, you can still be strong. And a man once showed me that kindness and success can go hand in hand. I stand here today because two people believed in me. One by birth, and one by choice." As applause filled the auditorium, Damien wiped away a tear. Sometimes the greatest interviews aren't about resumes or degrees, they're about courage, love, and the little girl who walked into a boardroom with nothing but a folder and a reason to believe. Moral of the story: sometimes the most powerful voices come from the smallest people. And when you lead with love, whether in a home or a high-rise, you can change lives forever.